Today I'd like to talk about the higher power. So, to access the self of the current, or the one that could carry us through whatever we're going through, the light at the end of the tunnel can meet us here now if we have something to hold on to, but it cannot be anything physical, because as we ourselves physically change, nothing of the old recipe can take up the space that is currently being taken up with by something. So it's not like we can have something exactly replace anything else. So things need to be able to fall away. We need to have something that's transient, fade, so that anything that's kind of totally stable can stay. But that means it can't be anything physical, because everything physical decays, changes, even if it's over millennia. There's a sense of change and eventually breakdown. Things come together and they come apart. So there's got to be something beyond that realm of randomness, or what we call in radioactivity, energy coming off of whatever it is, the energy that is releasing. We call it a half-life, and then the potency and intensity of the energy waves decrease every segment of these half-lives. So let's say it's for 10 hours, the half-life would be 5 hours, then at 5 hours you would have half left after another. The half-life, in other words, is a way of measuring how much radiation something is giving off. And there are times where the potency that was downloaded kind of into the item, or it was altered, for example, in a nuclear reaction, what happens next is that over time, every 10 hours, you would have half of what you had. And eventually, these half-lives would become smaller and smaller residues until almost negligible. So it would need to be refilled again. But you couldn't say that the same item can handle what it originally got. It would have to be a different, or perhaps it can handle much more. In other words, we can't draw conclusions about what we've been through already as ways of navigating what will come. So I'm going to use the Greek mythology God versus what is the God what is the higher power, what is the self, what can the self serve? It must serve something. So I'm going to start with the idea my God is a lover and peaceful. And I'm going to compare these with the Greek gods, not to say there's anything wrong with the Greek gods, but just for my personal practice here, hopefully this will show that, at different times in history, people had different types of values and desires to worship, and also what was important. So I'm going to talk about what's important to me, what I want to worship, and what I value. So first of all, Adonis was killed by a venomous boar, a hog, that had razor-sharp teeth. And this was the god Ares killing him, transfiguring into this. And they were having a fight over Aphrodite. So the children built the temple. Ares is the father of Rome. He's Mars, of human bones. They built a temple out of human bones and the skulls of the humans. And he's the god of fear, the god of terror. So this is not what I can serve. This is not something that, and I won't go into this much detail with every single piece I bring up, but I'm going to say, for example, here in the Jewish tradition, we hear about Asherah, that tried to save, Aphrodite came and tried to save Adonis and couldn't, but in Judaism we say that Asherah came and was being, I'm sorry, that Adonai means master in Hebrew, and it was said that Asherah was being worshipped and as a fertility god, along with the Baal, alongside the Jewish god. And so it's very interesting how these stories could be for every tradition. But what I look at here is that I don't want to serve terror and fear. So the Mars energy, or the energy of building something out of the bones of others, like a dog-eat-dog world, doesn't serve me. And especially not to rule and use a woman as a reason to kill people. Or for me might be, a different thing than a woman. It could be a man or for a child, Then I have here Apollo skinned a Sartor in a music contest, and Iobe's 14 kids, out of defending his mother for having only 2 kids, they were all killed. So this is somebody who was worshipped as a god, and just because he could, he skinned a beast alive who lost the music contest. That's what he, the wager was, whoever wins gets to choose what to do. So that's what he did. And Niobe's 14 kids, someone said, wow, she must be more fertile. She has 14 kids and your mother only has 2. So he killed all of her children. So Apollo and Ares, these are not lovers, not peaceful. This won't carry me through. This is not, these are aspects that won't work for me. Then I have here, my God is all powerful. Asclepius got killed by lightning and learned healing from a centaur. And I would like to serve an all-powerful God who doesn't need to learn healing from a centaur or get killed by lightning. I would like to serve something more powerful than a centaur, and more powerful than the healing itself, and more powerful than the lightning. And can't be stuck holding the sky like Atlas as a punishment, or turn into, mountains, or get possessive of golden apples, or trick Heracles to do his work. None of that is very powerful. That's very disempowered. And doesn't kill his father like Cronus did to his father, Uranus. Cronus was Saturn. He was one of Titan's 12 kids. This guy had with Gaia, who is also Earth, and got overthrown by his children, the Olympians. And also he copulated with his sister, Rhea. And they had Cyclops, one-eyed, and a 100 Hecantaceres, something like that, as part of their kids. So, to me, none of these seem like powerful enough to last me through the worst moments. That's really what we're talking about here. When we're in the tunnel, we need something that is beyond, is so beyond. So my God is pure and fair. Dionysius was a product of Zeus being in infidelity with his mother instead of Hera. He sewed him into his thigh to be born a second time. And he doesn't have followers. And my God also doesn't have followers tearing live animals apart or eating humans. And can't get trapped by pirates. This all happened to Dionysius. My God is pure and fair. Eros caused people to love each other by force. Eros is a god that shot an arrow and said, now you have to love. And there's plenty of interesting stories. You could say he's kind of like acted a little bit like a demon who was playing with people, or the gods even, that they spoke about then. He doesn't need a 3-headed dog like Cerberus to protect him. That was the name of the dog Hades had. And doesn't, take a daughter from a mother, which was his partner Persephone, causing problems with crops. And can't be eaten, like the other gods I just mentioned. So my God is pure and fair. My God is merciful. He doesn't allow his son to lose control of the sun chariot, like Helios did, which caused a lot of damage. They say the Sahara Desert, I believe, came, that level of damage came from a parent letting his child get away with whatever he wanted. Doesn't get thrown away for being ugly by his mother, like Hephaestus. Although Pandora, like Eve, was created from clay and punished men when she was curious and opened the jar. She wasn't supposed to, and doesn't make, and Hephaestus also made inventions that would cause trouble and suffering. So my God is merciful. Zeus swallowed Metis to avoid a more powerful son. He was afraid of his son. So my God is merciful. My God is not doing any of these things. My God is independent. He doesn't require winged sandals like Hermes or to steal cows from his sibling. He doesn't give in to animal instincts like Pan, who was half goat, who got the name because he was inspired panicking. He inspired panic inside of people, and also he chose nymphs to capture them. Like with Poseidon, liking romance drama, or forced a sacrificed human like Poseidon did with Andromeda. And his wife, got jealous, turned his lover, Scylla, a nymph, into a sea monster with 16 heads and 12 legs. constantly terrorizing people with storms, droughts, and sinking ships. So my God is independent. And my God is unpunishable. He didn't get his liver eaten each day by an eagle like Prometheus. It regrew each day to be eaten again. Who was said to make man out of clay. And he tricked Zeus into choosing the less desirable sacrifice of, just the parts that the humans didn't want, because he covered it up with some things that he thought Zeus would like. And he gave fire to the humans before fire was sent, only to what God wanted. And then he said, here, use fire to do what you want. That's what Prometheus is said to be known for. His name meant forethought, Prometheus. And his brother, Epimetheus, means afterthought. And they sided with Zeus and the Olympians, even though they were titans. And their reward was assigning qualities to the animals, which may sound... Earlier I said, Pandora sounds a lot like Eve. And here we have Prometheus sounding a lot like Adam and his brother. And Zeus punished the humans to punish Prometheus with Curious Pandora and her box. So when he was making men out of clay, he didn't make any woman. He just made men. And finally, my God is fearless. He's not afraid, or she's not afraid, or it's not afraid of offspring, like Uranus was, and cruelly forcing Gaia to contain them in her depths. She said, I can't do this anymore. He said, hold them down. I don't want them to take over. I don't want to lose my power to them. My God is fearless. He doesn't need to blow a woman to him by force like Boreas of the four winds. There was also Zephyrus, Notus, and Eurus. Zeus became a head god by lottery, and he overthrew Saturn and Cronus in making his wife jealous with 115 girlfriends. He isn't the child of a god who overthrew. My God is fearless. So in all of this, I would say that we're all learning how to deal with our suffering, and filling ourselves up with just ourself is what has come as exposure to us. Our meditations could be also thought of as absorptions, and we've absorbed so much in our life, and there's a point where we have to choose, who do you serve? Who's your God? So just to summarize, we need to find some aspect of a creator. And I've done this in an interesting way. I've said all these reasons why I can't serve man-made gods. I can't serve gods that people made up, because in the end, when I learn about them, I don't actually respect them. I don't actually become inspired by them. I don't actually want to dedicate all of my life to being an instrument for that one. So when I'm going through my challenges, I need something beyond me to provide me with the strength and with the mercy and with the fearlessness, with the unpunishability, the innocence, the independence, the purity and fairness and power, the love and the peace of a God that is beyond my own wounds and beyond my own confusions and beyond my own grasping for something physical. So I hope that this helps, and feel free to write your own and use any sort of construct to work out who your God has to be for you to serve your God.